Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back to another installment of The Mandalorian. Yes, we're on Chapter 15, Episode 7.
With just 2 episodes left, the tension is mounting as Mando posses up in hot pursuit of Moff Gideon.
Ooh, I love it, hot pursuit.
Roll that intro. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'd appreciate it if you weren't like Ponda Baba and Dr. Vezin and hit that like button.
He doesn't like you.
I'm sorry.
I don't like you either.
Well, that's kind of rude. At least hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell.
Look at those TIE fighters. That's awesome.
That's cool. That's Billy Burr.
It is, yeah.
New paint job.
Okay, look at this. Kind of a ragtag posse here, eh?
What?
No, Madonna. Posse. Posse.
Oh.
He's like, do I want to stay in prison?
Bring them to drop an F-bomb.
Yeah, do you want to stay in prison or do you want to go?
The Believer.
The Believer. All right.
Not that shot.
Oh, I mean, like, that ship is awesome.
Oh, they can see how the way it rotates when it's flying.
That's
That's
super.
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Still has the dent in the
Yeah,
helmet.
that's cool.
I guess it's best guard. It's hard to get out.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Is he going to take his helmet off?
He's in for a trooper suit. They blew up. That's what happened to the other ones. But they're carrying is volatile.
Oh, yeah.
He's a little nervous now.
Yeah. Like
Pirates?
Pirates, looks like. Yeah. Yeah.
But then remember, he doesn't have vest guard on.
No.
Go. Oh, must be a fuel source.
Yeah, it's got to be. Oh, come on.
Oh, see, Beskar.
Yeah.
He's the Beskar.
Oh. Chuck it.
Oh,
It's actually Pedro Pascal in that outfit there.
no,
Stunt double.
It's a stunt double. It's John Wayne's grandson.
Yeah, I read that. It's kind of cool.
But I would not be surprised in this episode if we see Mando lose his helmet. Right now.
Yeah. Oh, shore troopers. Nice.
They're actually hitting targets.
Yeah, that's unusual. That's just not the good guys, that's why.
He recognizes them.
Yeah.
Tells you how desperate he is to get the kid.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to he'll take the helmet off and let see his face.
Ah. Huh.
TK421.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go fill out those TPS reports. We can go recharge the power reports.
Yes.
Office space. That's awesome.
Seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Jeez. The cavalry.
Oh, I want to see him shoot.
Boom.
Yeah.
Haven't seen these in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Man.
That is sweet.
That's awesome. So, I mean, I just asked him to join, but just not.
So second to last episode done, and title is The Believer. And who are you thinking of what they're talking about there?
Well, I was kind of thinking Bill Burr's character. I mean, maybe he wasn't, he didn't believe in a cause. I think that's maybe what it is, right? He didn't believe in anything. Really. He was a former Imperial, not really sitting in a jail, like a junkyard, working time off, I guess, for the New Republic.
Kind of working the chain gang.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think maybe as we progress in the episode, he starts to believe in the cause or believe in something.
Believing in a cause.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what who they mean it is.
Then it was interesting because I wasn't sure where they're going to go with this episode. If they were going to drag it out, the whole episode was going to be breaking him out of jail or whatever it was going to be. But they got him out right away and forwarded the story. So they got him right off the bat through Cara Dune's connections.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that was they didn't dwell on it. It was good. I liked it. I just saw a little quick in and out. There was no big.
Yeah, I was worried that they were gonna lose the momentum that the last 2 weeks have really built on, and they didn't do that. So that was good.
No, absolutely. It was. It flowed nicely. Like I thought the episode flowed nicely. And you know what? I think what we get to see a little bit too in this take of this one, just being about the Imperials, kind of an Imperial base. You're in the Imperial midst.
You get to see the inner workings of the
Yeah.
of the Imperials a little bit. Yeah.
Well, seeing them all cheer. They deliver their transport vehicle, and all these guys are cheering. Just like, when we get the scene from A New Hope when they blow the Death Star up, all the rebels are
You get to
cheering.
cheer. Yeah. You get to see the feeling and the emotion on the other side.
Yeah. Well, and then even you're seeing an officer in the situation, essentially explaining or trying to justify the actions of death, and it's for the cause of the Imperials. It doesn't matter about the
They
life.
both sides have a reason for being and for their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this episode was basically tracking down coordinates to get them off. So that was the arc of this episode.
Yeah, the mission for them. Yeah.
And we got to see them track it down through Bill Burr, because he was a former Imperial.
That's right.
He was able to get in and get the codes. They got in, and there was some action in between. There's some scenes, and just to carry the action forward, because the episode was 39 minutes, so it could have been a shorter episode, but they stretched it out and had some action scenes on the way trying to get there in the first place.
Yeah.
But once they got in there, you could kind of tell throughout the episode that between the conversation between Fennec, is that his last name?
Yeah.
Fennec or
No, Fennec's the Boba's sidekick. Yeah.
Bill Burr's character.
Yeah.
Between him and Din.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about him wearing a helmet or not showing his face, and you had that feeling that they were talking about this to kind of move the story along to the point where he could remove the helmet, because we knew at some point this was going to happen. We've heard little stories about the fact that Pedro Pascal wanted more face time and not to be under the helmet the whole time, and show the character a little bit. And I think that's one way that they drove it forward. They wrote it in. You could kind of feel it coming.
Well, yeah, that you're right. You can just see the buildup was there for the episode, and if you read all the fake news or the articles were saying that he quit mid season for season 2 because of no face time, and obviously that's not true. I mean, it was just someone. I don't doubt that maybe he wanted to get a little bit more screen time, but from the readings of him, he's a pretty professional actor. He's not.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what happens behind the scenes, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm sure there's some issues with it, and they were obviously resolved. But you could tell they were building towards it a little bit. I don't think we'll see just yet a lot of face time. It'll be part of his character growth that he will be like. I think he'll become like the other Mandalorians, like Bo-Katan, where it won't be an issue taking off his helmet.
Or Boba, all those ones. Yeah, and I think that's going to be. I think that's great, because then if you start you identify more with him, and he is the Mandalorian. He believes in the cause, but you're seeing who he is, right?
I like both aspects of it. I like the fact that they're building towards the character and being able to put a face to it and kind of be attached emotionally to that character a little bit more. But at the same time, I like the mystery of not knowing who he is. You don't see the face. Like for the longest time, we never knew who Boba Fett was until they did the Clone Wars and all that, and you didn't know what his face looked like. And that was part of the intrigue. I think that's you kind of lose some of that luster to the character.
So do you think seeing him now, and let's talk a little about Boba Fett with that armor, the paint job, brand new paint job on it, looking snazzy.
That was as soon as I seen it, like instantly, like you could tell it was painted, and it was like it looks good, but it throws you off because you've never really seen it like that.
Yeah, it's
always been battle worn.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if I think I prefer battle worn. Just because it just gives you that, the classic look. But I'm sure if he continues to be around in the show or any other show, if he's in the spin-offs or what happens, I think we'll see a little battle wear off.
For sure. I mean, but you got to remember, and I think when Jango was wearing the armor, it was shiny, it was clean, and then obviously Boba inherits it, and it gets a little.
But it was a paint job, right? So the paint will wear off. And the Beskar itself doesn't wear. But I do have one question.
What's that?
knowing all that we know about the Mandalorian outfits and the Beskar now,
Hmm.
how did he get that dent on the helmet?
Yeah, I mean that is.
that's
What-
something.
Was the dent there in Return of the Jedi?
Yes. It was there in
Yeah,
Empire.
it was there in Empire. It was there in Return of the Jedi.
So whatever it is that caused it was something else. Because if the
Yeah.
Star Destroyer or whatever ship it was exactly can blow up the Razor Crest,
Hmm.
and that spear was just fine. No dent, no
Well,
nothing.
and you think about it, that if that Beskar spear was blocking a lightsaber.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like what you're right. What
What the heck hit it?
that looks like more of a force impact. Oh, that could be something. Force push or something like that, or even
I think it would be something a lot more
yeah.
powerful than that. Like I'm talking, it's got to be something extremely, extremely
Yeah.
powerful.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find that out in the Boba Fett series if
Yeah,
there
or-
is one.
Yeah.
So that's something that they haven't been announced.
No, with all the announcements today,
Yeah.
there was not talk of a Boba Fett spinoff.
Yeah.
I've had some thoughts as to where that could go for this season on The Mandalorian. I might be the first one to say it. I'm gonna go out there and say I wouldn't be surprised if they could actually go along without having Din as the main Mandalorian.
I see what you're saying.
If he sacrificed himself for the kid or something, it could be Boba Fett going forward. This might turn into a Boba Fett series. He's still a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Or they could be calling it the Mandalorian. I would not be surprised if that's the route they go. If any of the rumors were true with Pedro Pascal and they maybe didn't resolve it, maybe we don't find out. Like really what happened. That could go.
That's an interesting theory.
Because you could go in any direction with this in the future. Because there is no Bo-Katan spinoff announced either. And if for some reason in the future you wanted to get rid of these other characters, you can go forward with Bo-Katan or another Mandalorian.
So that's a good idea because you think about it, right? The show is the Mandalorian, and I know they call this guy called Din the Mando.
Yeah, because he is a Mandalorian, though. But
yeah, so really he's not.
If you really say the Mandalorian, it's a very broad term. The Mandalorian, that's the race. That's the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's a good point because I mean that could be it. I mean you're right. You could say, hey, we're done with this story. We're done with Din's story, and we're moving forward. Now we know what Boba Fett did.
Yeah, you never know what direction they can go with it.
Yeah,
it's one way they could get around
Mm-hmm.
telling different stories and different characters.
Yeah, so then you do a season on Bo-Katan, what she's been up to, and then maybe you roll Sabine in there, who's from Mandalore, things like that. Like
you can roll so many different characters in and out.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. That's you lots of angles with that.
Thinking outside the box a little.
Yeah, there we go. You may have heard it here first.
Yes.
Yeah. So other parts of the episode, they let Bill Burr's character go. Will we see him again?
I was surprised that, like we were talking throughout, that I thought maybe they would recruit him for the spin-off series.
Yeah.
But Bill Burr is a busy guy. He's a famous guy.
Yeah.
He might not have time for it. I thought maybe with the lockdown and everything that's going on in the world right now, maybe he would have taken some time to, because they're filming, I think, right away, or if they're already filming.
Yeah.
And maybe he will be in it. We don't know. But I was surprised that she didn't ask him to be part of the what is the new spin-off called?
The Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he was part of it. I think we'll see kind of a ragtag cast of characters thrown together for that as well. So, and it could be people out of this series as well. So.
Yeah, and I think it'll just who knows? Like we got a lot of content that's going to come out here, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where all these characters slot into this. What's the time frames? Where we're at? Did they announce when the Knights of the New Republic is? It's obviously going to be during this time as well. I think they said, didn't they?
No, the High Republic,
or the Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh, that's a spinoff.
Yeah, in this time.
Yeah, that's it. It's in the Ahsoka series and the Ranger series are in this time period, and they are going to cross over a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of picks on everything there. Anything else from the episode that sticks out for you?
Just basically the ending. It was, Din was calling out Moff Gideon, letting him know that he's coming for him, and he's coming for the kid, and basically nothing's going to stop him because the kid is that important to him.
Yeah, and that struck me as very interesting because shows the attachment he has for Grogu.
Because previously, in as you throughout the series, you could see the growth of the character, but before you never saw that. Like he was just very much a loner.
Yeah,
and you didn't expect that kind of emotion from him.
And it's truly a foundling scenario where he cares so much for him, and I got to take care of him. That's my job. Train him, do whatever he needs to do, and I think that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and it's not a duty necessarily. It's almost a fatherly thing.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
very much attached emotionally to the child.
Yeah, and I think it's probably likewise with Grogu, feeling the same way, right?
Yeah,
so,
I think we touched on it when we talked about in the Ahsoka episode when they were walking away from each other. You could see her kind of smile at him,
mm-hmm.
and I think there was that connection where they were kind of communicating, and he was basically thanking her for letting him stay with him. I think they're very much on the same page where they both want to be together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great little relationship there that they're kind of buddies or father son or who knows? Yeah, I guess the question is last episode.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that, and let's do some predictions here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my prediction. We talked about this. Does a Jedi show up to help out, or is it strictly Din and his posse get in there, they save Grogu, and then Gideon's still out there? But I don't think, my personal thoughts are, I don't think we see a Jedi show up. I think we see a little Force ghost, and I'm going on a limb, and I'm saying that it's Obi-Wan Kenobi that Grogu sees.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. I'm not really sure where it's going to go. I don't know how to feel about where they're going to go with it. I had predictions before. Now I'm thinking, do we see a Jedi? I don't think we see one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see one at all. I think we do the whole silhouette scenario where I was thinking that maybe you see the feet or the cloak or something, the backdrop of maybe somebody approaching, and we don't see him at this season. But I think we're going to end on. I think we're still going to end on a dark kind of an ending for this season. I think what was going to happen is I don't think they're going to get Grogu back. I think it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and we'll see maybe a potential Jedi showing up, and we don't really see him, and that's how they'll end it. They're gonna want a big cliffhanger for them at the season,
for sure,
and bring them back to viewers for season 3.
How did we cliffhang last season?
It was the Darksaber.
Yes. So it was a happy thing. They got off. They cleaned up the town.
Yep.
They got that sorted out.
But then they came out with the
Darksaber.
Darksaber and let you wonder what's going to happen, because how did he get this thing? Where are they going with it?
That's right.
And
so you're thinking dark ending. They don't get Grogu. They're still.
I think we end on a kind of a cliffhanger where they're in trouble, and maybe they're getting away again with Grogu. And
what if you had another appearance of Ahsoka?
I wouldn't count on it for this season. I don't think she will be the one. I won't be disappointed if it's her, but I don't think we see that. I think we're going to see. I don't think we see anybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think we're going to see. I think they want to leave you on a cliffhanger, just like they did with Boba Fett, kind of in the episode with Fennec, when she was supposedly left for dead.
That's right.
And we were wondering, is that Boba Fett who walked up to her? Because they kind of had the spurs and the boots, and they were thinking it's Boba Fett. I think we're going to get that same scenario maybe on this one. Just a little bit of a cliffhanger. Make you wonder who's there.
Like a little teaser for the next season.
Yeah. Is that the Jedi? Who is it? Yeah. They're going to want you back, and they want to have big numbers for the next season's first episode, right?
That's true.
And drive up that subscriber count for the Disney Plus.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think you're crazy if you're not watching it. I mean,
it's still the biggest show out there now.
It is.
And it's just going to get bigger. And like I said, they're going to really, if they leave it on a great cliffhanger, it's only going to do bigger numbers, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's right. And you set yourselves up for season 3, all the spin-offs, crossovers, you name it, and we're all over the place then.
Yeah, I think they're going to really expand into the storylines with the spin-offs with this. I don't think we're done by any means. I think they're going to expand it, and we'll be getting some crossover work, and then those spin-offs can kind of deal with more of the traditional Star Wars lore, and we'll get back more into the mainstream side stories with Mando, where it doesn't have to be part of the Jedi and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I think this season was kind of setting up a bigger story for the overall arc of everything, and I think we'll get back to a more basic story with Mando after this.
Yeah, and like I said, so who do you think is going to direct next week's episode? Is it Filoni or Jon Favreau? Who is it?
Well, I'm not sure. I can't remember the list of directors for this season, and I can't remember if there's anybody left. So
I think we've got them all.
I would think that the last one is possibly Jon Favreau again.
Yeah,
I think he'll just
you
know, it's his baby. He probably wrote the overall arc kind of, and I think we'll get him ending off the season.
Yeah, I think it's either him or Filoni that do it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Dave Filoni doing another episode this season, but my bet would be on Favreau.
Yeah, start the season off, finish the season off. I wonder if it'll be a longer episode. Is it? I think it's going to be an hour-long episode. Is it? Is it?
I think they'll stay the course, and it'll be kind of in that 40-45 minutes.
Yeah,
that's kind of where they're trying to stay in that general time slot. I would be surprised if they stretched it on any further because the timing, the pacing. Like I said, this episode could have been shorter. They kind of dragged it out a little bit more, just to give it a little more time, which I was okay with. But I think we'll get that 40-45 minute kind of thing.
Agreed. Yeah. No. Overall, I think it was a good episode. Leads us up to the big payoff.
Yeah. With this episode of The Mandalorian now in the books, we're down to the final installment of the season.
The grand conclusion is just around the corner. We can't wait to see what happens to Mando and Grogu. We really would like to hear comments and questions. Please drop it down in the box below.
Until next week, Polsey and Gator, signing off.